Shirat, Kyungnae, Yosan. So kicks might be considered what Taekwondo is famous for. Taekwondo is known for its great kicks. The martial art itself is mostly kicks. There are lots of fancy kicks in it. But to work on the fancy kicks, we need to start with the basics. There are 3 basic kicks in Taekwondo: the front kick, the side kick, and the roundhouse kick or turning kick. So roundhouse kick is the same thing as turning kick. They just go by different names to different instructors or different schools. So make sure you know both of those terms referring to the same kick. The front kick is simple. It's called the front kick because you're kicking out in front of you. So if I'm ready to kick here, lift it up and kick. Take a kick here, lift it up and kick. So there are 4 parts to every kick. There's the lift, the extend, the rechamber, or bringing it back, or recoil, and finally setting it down. So those 3 parts of the kick for front kick begins with 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's very important for the kicks to bring up your knee as high as you can go, because that determines how high you can kick. If I only bring up my knee to here, my leg can't go any farther than the kick down here. But if I bring up my knee all the way up here, I can kick a lot higher. So really be able to bring up your knee and control it. And the reason it's important to bring your foot back after you've kicked is because that's where the snap comes from and the power. So all that snap comes from when my foot's on the way back, so that's where you get your snap. And it's also important to be able to control your knee. See, I'm still holding it up here, and then I want to set it down lightly. That's because when you're in a real fight, you don't want to lose your balance. You want to always control it, and you want to be able to kick again. So if I bring my knee up here, I can kick. I can keep on kicking as long as I want to, as long as I need to, before I set my foot down. So bring your knee up high and set your leg down very lightly. So once again, the front kick. You might want to practice this on a walking stance or a fighting stance. Bring it up and kick. Bring it up and kick. Bring it up. Kick. So on this kick, you're hitting with the ball of your foot. So if you tap the floor, that's the ball of your foot. Stand up on your toes, that's the ball of your foot. So that's what you want to kick with, which means you need to curve your toes backward. That takes some practice, but just try to get used to it, using the floor, kicking a target if you can, although I assume most of you are probably kicking in the air for the time being, which is perfectly fine. So remember, front kick, kicking out in front of you, bring it up, kick, up, and kick. So next is the side kick. We're going to start with a turning side kick for consistency. Now the side kick, once again, it's exactly how it sounds. You're kicking the side of your body. So if I'm facing this way, I can bring it up and kick sideways, bring it up, and kick sideways. And once again, there are 4 parts to this kick. So there's bringing up the knee, there's the extend, there's the recoil, and you're setting it down lightly. So setting it down lightly is very important once more. So if I want to kick multiple times, I can keep kicking. So always be ready with that. And when you bring up your knee on this kick, it's a little bit different. You want to point your knee. So if you bring up your knee out here, you won't have as much power. If you bring up your knee crossing your body and then extend it out, you get much more power because your kick is farther and you can kick much closer to your body. See, I can kick to my hand here. So you want to bring up your knee across and out, bring up your knee across and out. So make sure you're doing that with your side kick. And for this side kick, once again, you want your face facing your opponent. So even though your body is facing to the side, you're looking straight toward your target. Straight toward your target, don't look away. Keep your hands up in the direction of your target. Because remember, if you're fighting someone, you want your hands ready to block whatever they throw, and you want your eyes ready to see whatever they try to do, or where you can hit. So, face your opponent. Finally, on this kick, the part of the foot you hit with is the blade of the foot, like this. Especially the side of the heel, that's where all the power comes from. So, when you bring up your foot, you want to control your foot. So, you've got the side of the heel facing your opponent. You really want to be ready for that. So, you're not facing your toes up like this. You have your toes down, side of the heel facing your opponent. So, if I'm going to kick this way, side of the heel facing your opponent. So, you can practice this when you do the side stretches. Always have your foot controlled, so be able to do that. And that's the turning side kick. So remember, bring it up, kick, bring it back, and set it down. Thirdly is the roundhouse kick or turning kick. So of course, since the names are pretty simple, this kick involves turning. So for the turning kick, it looks almost like a side kick, but this time instead of shooting straight forward and kicking, you're coming around and kicking. So this is good for when your opponent is facing you, you want to hit their stomach. You can go to the head. You can come around, hit a target with this. So you bring it around and snap, set it down. So your foot is coming around this way instead of directly to your opponent. So if I want to hit this wall, bring it around, bring it around. So once again, there are 4 parts to this kick. Just like most kicks, you bring it up, you extend, you bring it back, and you set it down. So on this kick, you want to imagine you're trying to sweep something off a table. So you bring your knee up high, it's coming around this way. Now you want to make sure your knee stays over the table, so you're not bringing it up down here, bring it up here, and coming around. So you're sweeping it off the table. This is a horizontal kick. And for this kick, you can kick with 2 different parts of the foot. The instep of the foot, which is opposite your heel, is good for soft targets, for free sparring, for round targets, large targets. So you can get used to that. And then you can also use the ball of your foot, hitting with the ball. That's for real fighting, when you need to hit hard. It's also for breaking a target, breaking a board, hitting a small target, or practicing in the air, because it's best to practice with the ball of your foot, which is more difficult. So those are the 3 basic kicks: the front kick, the side kick, and the turning kick. So make sure you can get used to those. All the other kicks are based on those, so you need to be able to know those 3 kicks. Cheerio! Kymne! Yes, sir.